Yeah.
It's on?
Yep.
This shit is high. Hey, what's up guys? In today's video I'm going to show you how to polish a high drop axle on a tow truck. It's a 22.5-inch wheel. It has a large hub and it's an awkward height. It's a little bit too high, so I had to sit and stand, as you're going to see in this video, to get this done. First thing I do when I cut a wheel, I spin it clockwise and I focus on the inner lip of the face, right on the outside of the studs, little recessed area. I usually do about 2 full rotations on that. I spin it and I use the valve stem as my guide, so I have consistent polishing. After I hit that area, I'm going to spin the wheel counterclockwise and I'm going to focus on the face, particularly the holes, the aluminum in between the holes. So I'm going to spin it and I'm going to go on the left side of each hole, and I'm going to do that around the whole wheel. You got 10 holes. When I get to my 10th hole, I'm going to spin it clockwise. I'm going to do the same thing on the right side of the hole. And when you hit from each side the holes, you're going to have a uniform cut at the end. This is especially important if you use an orbital sander and you sand your face. Pay attention at a truck show and you'll see certain people, their wheels have pigtails left over on one side. That's because they're only usually cutting going clockwise in the right side of the hole. So the left side of the hole is not getting the right amount of attention that it deserves, and you're going to have pigtails left over if you do it that way. After I get the face done, I focus on the inside of the lip where the valve stem is, and you're going to see me working that. I go pretty hard in there. I'm going to get the buff in there and I'm going to go back and forth really fast. And some people try to say that polishing it by hand is the way to go. I will 100% argue that fact is not right. When you do it with a buff, you're going to get good clarity on the inside of the lip, and that makes a nice difference. When the whole lip is the same clarity, you're going to notice that result at the end, 100%. Now the next thing that's extremely important, this might be the most important thing I say in this whole video. When you're buffing, especially cutting and coloring, really, it's equally as important. You need to have the right amount of pressure. Your pressure, you should be pushing that machine where it's straining. It's just starting to strain. If I had to put a weight number on it, I would say I'm pushing down with 30 to 40 pounds of pressure on the grinder. It's enough where a hard buff starts to bow out. As you're looking at the edge that's making contact, it's widening at that point. That's how hard you got to push, and that's going to help you get that uniform cutting. Just like paint, focus on what you're doing. You know, if you got to go, if you're cross cutting, do the exact same amount of cross cuts in each area, and then you run your buff straight across and blend all the hash marks together. I'm going to do another video more in depth on this on tank soon, but enjoy the rest of the video. I have voiceovers coming up as well. Alright, so now that the face and the innermost area of the lip where the valve stem comes out, I'm going to spin the wheel counterclockwise, and I'm going to start on the outermost lip area of the wheel, right where it goes to the rubber. It's that little outer edge of the rim. I do that. Then I'm actually still spinning it counterclockwise, and this really is how a wheel machine works. You're spinning the wheel opposite direction of the buff, so you're cutting it harder. And I think I was just messing around this day. I'd rather just cross cut it out because if you have sanding marks in there, for instance, if you just try to cut the wheel like this, you're still going to have pigtails left over, or any kind of orbital sanding marks, curly cues, whatever you want to call them. But these wheels are in pretty good condition, and I'm just doing the entire lip counterclockwise, and then I'm going to start going clockwise and redoing it again for extra cutting. Alright, so right here now the wheel's spinning clockwise, and I'm starting on the outer edge. I'm using the valve stem as my guide to count how many rotations I'm doing. And I think the main thing with polishing where people are going to go wrong is not having a consistent cut. If your cutting phase isn't uniform across the entire wheel, when you go to color it, you're going to see patchy areas, cloudy areas, spotty areas, and that's all due to the fact that some parts have better clarity than others. So after you cut, if it's not all uniformly cut, and you don't have all the sanding marks out, or you didn't get all the little scratches that are left in the wheel if you didn't have to sand it, if any of that's remaining in certain areas of the wheel, you're going to have weird patches when you're looking at it after it's all done. You're going to be like, oh, why is this not all clear all the way around? The clarity is not correct. Same thing as doing paint. You know, when you polish paint, for instance, you see a lot of people giving tutorials on it, and they'll go vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal. They'll do 4 passes, and they know if you do that across the entire car, for the most part, your end result is going to be uniform. That's how you got to approach polishing metal. It's the same exact thing. It's just a lot more forgiving than paint. You can get away with a lot on metal. Alright guys, so this is the coloring phase. I like to use a Makita variable speed polisher. It's got a max RPM of 3,500. That's on when you use the speed dial. It's number 6. I usually keep it at 3 or 4, which I believe is 1,800, 2,200 RPMs. I use Menzerna 439T compound on 90% of my work to cut and color. The only difference in my coloring step is that I step down the buffs to a softer buff. I use Zephyr. I've been using Zephyr now for the last 1.5 years. Their products are the best I've used. I use the Quick Cut, which is an orange-yellow mixed pad to cut. I use the Blue Baron, which is a really stiff blue pad to cut. I use the Joker wheel, which is a green and purple to color, and a purple wheel to color. I like those. You just go through the exact same motion you did on the cutting with the softer pad and a little bit less compound and rake frequently. You'll get good results. I just wanted to also say, basically, going forward, that if you guys want to see certain videos, you want a tutorial on a certain thing in metal polishing or paint polishing, leave comments below. I'm going to get to that. I know the tires on this truck are bald. I had 1 million people saying it on Instagram. I lowered the PSI to 50 before I did this video. This is a mechanic shop. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I appreciate everybody for taking the time to watch my videos. You know, my go-to stuff. I love this. Every truck I polished this year at Rosemar has been using Zephyr.